Good day and welcome to Rico Insights, cybersecurity podcast, the fourth we are doing actually today. Toby, welcome. Today we're going to talk about when your printer becomes a cyber target. Of course, Rico is well known for the printers they sell, the MFPs. Let's talk a bit about that. So if you picture this, you're in an office and the printer is printing and contracts are being scanned and everybody's in the middle of the madness and all of a sudden the printer shuts down.
Yeah.
What will people know, basically, from standing at the printer shuts down, that the attack came from the printer?
Not necessarily, and that's the big thing. We don't have visibility. That's the key thing, We need to know when these breaches happen, how they've happened. That gives us a lot of information on the type of attack and what they were after. And the visibility is something that we need. Printers are very open as far as an infrastructure. There's no real security wrap on them. They need to be patched, they need to be updated, and they're an always on. They have to be available. Yeah. Because we need to print to them. So if they're not available, that's something that the cyber criminals are looking for as well. They're looking for that always-on approach. So when it comes to a breach, they're going to find the easiest point in, and it will be something that doesn't have a security wrap around it.
Yeah, so basically it's a blind spot, eh? So we secure everything, laptops, endpoints, anything except the printers.
Absolutely, yeah. Then that's why we have the patches. However, if the patches aren't done, or there's a new vulnerability, and we don't patch until later on, there's vulnerabilities and there's ways that the cyber criminals can get in.
Yeah, and like you say, it's not an offline printer anymore. All the printers in all the offices almost are all connected these days.
Yeah.
So, and when it's connected to your network, it can be compromised.
Absolutely, and also it never really is the printer that the cyber criminals trying to get after, because there's nothing on there. But it's an egress point into the organization, because what it will look for is who else is connected to that printer.
Yeah.
What server am I connected to, where I'm storing that data when I scan it, all that kind of stuff. Am I connected to the cloud? All of that infrastructure then becomes compromised.
Yeah.
So it's a way of cyber criminals sort of stepping around the organization.
So walk us through, how would that play out in real life?
So what we've seen is, again, let's look at the breaches that have happened, and the way they've happened is through that non-configured or missed patches. So let's look at the steps that takes. Organization gets breached via the printer. The printer is obviously not the target, but it's the entry point. Then they look at what is that connected to. It's some way through that chain, whether it be directly from the printer or via a connected user, they will be connected to a server that's holding information. Now the breach has happened with a ransomware attack. What we can then do, obviously, is start encrypting. That's how that whole process can be started. And then if we don't see that, and we don't know that the files are being encrypted, and we don't know that we've been breached until somebody starts clicking on things and say, I can't access this data, it's too late.
And it could be a file that comes from the printer. Absolutely. And somebody opens it. And
again, you could get printers that have already been pre-configured with ransomware. It doesn't have to be a breach. It could have been breached at source.
Yeah.
It could be a component that is added to a printer, whether that be a cheap print cartridge or anything like that. Yeah. There's a way in.
It's kind of scary. So do you have any real life scenarios of that?
Yeah, so we've seen some healthcare, especially in the UK, there's been a few breaches actually, where again, those patches hadn't been done, the updates hadn't been done to the printer, which left it exposed, and a ransomware attack had started through that point.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't the printer that started the ransomware attack, it was just an egress point.
Exactly.
But it was a big fundamental reason why they were able to get in, because we hadn't maintained patching and those critical updates that we need to do to all infrastructure.
So let's talk about the fix. If we talk about Print Protect, what does that actually do?
So Print Protect is two flavors. So we have Print Protect and Print Protect Plus. Print Protect is a incident response. So a real-time response 24/7, 365, help desk, if you like, that if you are breached, give us a call. We can then help you remediate, recover, and then look at how that came in and give you some kind of awareness of what to do next. We can give, some recommendations on this needs to be done, this needs to be done. So we can build a program of strategy around what's happened.
Yeah. So, and it's of course not only talking about securing the paper, it's about securing the whole of the process. Yeah?
Absolutely.
So Print Protect basically turns it into a controlled, visible, auditable device now.
So what we can do with Print Protect is, as I said, is just a response to a problem, but we have a second layer. We have Print Protect Plus. Print Protect Plus gives us that real-time monitoring of the printer environment, but also vulnerability management, if you like, or vulnerability awareness around that environment. So now we know what we're looking for, and we can also see when those breaches happen in a bit more real time than somebody phoning us up and saying, I've got a problem. We can then protect the environment and protect the data a little bit better.
Proactive.
That way. Yeah, absolutely.
Very proactive. So can Print Protect tie into other solutions like ransom-care or Zepco SOC services?
Absolutely, and all of the above. What we've got is the ability to with the SOC SIM from Zepco, what we can do is it's part of that service. So when you buy a SIM SOC, you get vulnerability, you get the monitoring, but you also get other elements as well. And we can tie into that. It could be the first step of an organization to have that smaller entry point into a SIM SOC. We've obviously got Cyber Zero, which is modular. So you can have Print Protect Plus, you can have ransomware, you can have all the other bits of modules that we want. So yes, we can tie into that. And then when we come to ransomware containment, it's an easy thing we can do because we can take information from what we've seen. The printers told us that we're under attack. It could be a detection sensor, but also you look at that whole strategy piece where we're looking at, where we have those different layers. Having those different layers, we've got the visibility, we've got the real-time response, but we've also got the containment happening if it is a ransomware attack that won't be at the printer, but it'll be at one of our servers. So we have a bigger picture instead.
So do you think companies need sort of a mind shift?
Oh yeah.
Into that, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, of course. And one of the things that a lot of organizations today are not is strategic when it comes to security, protecting their environment. They're very reactive to problems. So maybe they've seen a breach or, they've seen where they have vulnerabilities and they'll fix that. But what we need to do is we need to embed security into the DNA of organizations. And the only way to do that is be more strategic around security. And the first hurdle is getting the senior management to understand this sometimes, because they're looking at the profits and the losses and all the information that's relevant to them as an organization. But if we get a breach and all of that goes out the window, that's where the risk comes in. So what we can do actually with, again, we have a pool of very senior security specialists, CISO level people, and it's their role to not only be strategic around that organization and find out what's missing and where we get to, look at the posture of those organizations, how mature is their cybersecurity, but then escalate that up to that board level, that senior management to say, look, we need to be doing this because it admits risk. We need to be doing this because it maintains a higher level of security. And Ricoh can deliver that as a program of projects. So we have a vCISO, a virtual CISO as a service, and there are some elements of that we can work with to do that, at a very low cost.
Good. That's always good to know, of course. So that's quite a shift in people's minds, I think, from going not only start to protect your printers, think of them as a liability as well, and then maybe scaling up to all the services that are out there. And of course, we can help with that. So it's a shift from invisible to visible.
Absolutely.
And from reactive to proactive.
Absolutely.
And I know, of course, in cybersecurity, reaction time is everything.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So start securing your business if you want to know more. please contact myself or Toby, and we'll get in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Rico.
Listen to this new Rico Insights Cybersecurity podcast. Toby, what did we talk about?
So yeah, we spoke about Print Protect. How do we bridge that gap between printing and security, and what we can do to help you do that?
Watch it on LinkedIn or YouTube.
Rico.
Welcome back again.
Thank you very much. Good to be back.
Good. So we're here with Toby Slay, cybersecurity expert, of course, and I'm Christy, and together with the cybersecurity team of Rico International. Today, podcast number 5 on cybersecurity, the 50 minutes that decide your future. What happens after ransomware hits? Very scary things. So if I paint a scenario, what would somebody do? Like company servers are suddenly locked, emails have stopped, shared drives have vanished. So everybody's in panic and the whole company freezes. So what would be that scenario, those first 15 minutes when an attack hits?
Chaos.
Ooh.
Absolute chaos. Because what you got to remember is that it's not just the fact that our users or the users of that organization are unable to do what they do. Yeah, it's also, let's look at a retail business, an online retail business. They can't transact. They can't sell anything. It could be a bank that has applications on their phone. Nobody can, use those applications. So that all comes to a standstill. So it has a massive impact. And then the next question on their mind is, what do we do now? Yeah. It literally is panic, because there's a lot of data that's encrypted. There's a lot of people shouting, whether it be senior management, why has this happened? And also it will be our users saying, I can't do this, I can't do this. It will be absolute chaos.
I can imagine. I hope I never get to experience that. But if we look at the anatomy of an attack, what does that look like?
So cybercriminals want data. So they will encrypt anything they can get their hands on. And the idea of this is very much a targeted attack. Yeah, what we're seeing now is not that splattergun approach to ransomware attacks. It's very targeted. It takes a bit of time. So the impact is greater. If the impact is greater, it's going to be harder to recover. Yeah. So having those in our mindset when we look to recover a ransomware attack, we now know the complex nature of a ransomware attack and also how complex the encryption methods they're using as well. So the data's locked, everything's at a standstill, everybody's shouting and screaming. What can we do? And that's the issue, is there ain't a lot. We've got to rely on things like backups. If backups are encrypted as well, we're in a bigger picture. It's a bigger problem.
It's not enough to say we have backups. That's not a cybersecurity.
It's a process.
No.
It's a strategy around protecting our critical IT infrastructure. However, it's not something that's going to save you every time, because cybercriminals know it's there, so they're going to go after that as well. So
chaos. CEO is calling IT, screaming down the line, panicking.
Absolutely.
Your brand reputation starts to unravel in real time. So your PR department is going crazy and scrambling to find ways out. So what then should happen?
So what we've got to look at then is the recovery process. Yeah. And this is where it gets very expensive. So what we've seen in the recent 2 years around ransomware is the amount of ransomware attacks are not increasing as we've seen over previous years.
Yeah.
They are maintaining a very high level of ransomware attacks. However, what's increasing massively is the cost to recover a ransomware attack. And what we're also doing is we're seeing that a lot of organizations are paying to have their data back. Yeah, so they're funding that cyber criminal activity by paying those ransom demands. And in certain places, from a cyber insurance perspective, you're not allowed to do that. So you're in this catch-22 position of, how do I get back to a working normal? How much money is it going to cost me? And how quickly can I do it? Yeah. And there's a lot of roadblocks in place that is going to cause us an even bigger problem by what I've just mentioned. can't decrypt the data, can't pay the ransom because my cyber insurance is not going to pay out, and my business is telling me I need to be back up and running very, very quickly.
And they are asking crazy amounts of money to get your data back.
Yeah, so, again, as I said, these are targeted approaches, so they'll know what a business turnover is. They'll know what money that we've got available as a business, and they will go, well, I want a majority of that. I want to hurt you. Yeah. And if you look at some of the recent ransomware attacks, the money that has been associated to the loss and the recovery is huge.
Yeah, I remember a few that are quite shocking. So when we talk about solutions, and we talk about maybe the first action that should be taken is containment.
Yep.
We're talking, of course, about a business partner of us, Bulwell.
Yep.
What can you tell us about that?
So, as we know, what we do today around any threats, not just ransomware, but anything at all, is we look to prevent it. Yeah. And when it comes to preventing a ransomware attack, it is increasingly more complex because of the nature of the attack. So, these cyber criminals are not encryption specialists.
Yeah.
They've bought a encryption package off of the dark web or whatever for very little money, and they're using that. But if they're then also giving us the decrypt key as well, we have got to put the faith that that's going to work, and we know that it doesn't. There's a lot of statistics out there on how much data you get back and how often, and that kind of stuff. But we've talked about that a lot, but that is a fundamental fact. So that's one approach, is to pay the ransomware. The second approach is, okay, we're not going to pay the ransomware, we're going to recover by ourselves. But if we look down the chain, if our live data is damaged, our encrypted data is damaged, and our rested backups are damaged, I don't have a scenario now. So having prevention as a strategy doesn't work. We've got to be so accurate in what we're capturing that we need another layer of protection. And that other layer of protection has to form around containment. It has to be a mindset now that we're never going to prevent this from happening. There's always going to be ways through. They're looking at ways through that we may not even know that are ways through. So we have to have that containment layer. We have to have that added layer of security that if all else fails, we've got a level of insurance that RC, Bulwell ransomware containment solution, will stop that ransomware attack in its tracks.
And how does it do that?
So it does it very easy, like by looking at the data. We focus on the data. That is the key thing. Focus on the data, not on how it got in or anything like that. We're not interested. We're not looking at the laptop or the desktop. We're looking at the data that sits inside our infrastructure. And from there, we can look at any changes that are made to that data in real time. Mm-hmm. Scanning isn't a possibility. It has to be done in real time. By looking at the data, seeing the changes that are happening in real time, and then saying, are those changes all good or are they not good? And if they're not good, we then add a response plan to that. That response plan is get that ransomware attack off my environment and stop it as quickly as possible. And from the demos that we can show that we can stop a ransomware attack literally in seconds.
Yeah, so I was going to talk to you about that, about the timing, because, it starts and how quick can you stop it? And then we're not talking only containment and locking out a person's laptop maybe, but we're also talking about their SIP servers.
Yeah. So if we've got the servers, we need to protect the servers. It's a critical thing. We spoke about that in the last podcast, I think.
I think we did.
And we spoke a little bit about, protecting the servers is another prevention way. Yeah, so we need to know what's happening on those and protect the logging credentials or login credentials. Yeah. How our administrators access those servers. So that's one thing that we need to do. But also understanding the fact that these attacks are happening. Visibility is again one of the critical things. If we don't have the visibility, we won't have the ability to stop it.
Yeah,
and it will just encrypt and keep going. So we have to have that added layer of protection, which is what we've put in place with RC.
Yeah, RC stands for Ransom Care, which is powered by Bulwell.
Absolutely.
One of our partners. How does the SEPCO services and solutions that we sell come into this?
So there's a few ways that they work. One is we can integrate with things like SIM and SOC to enrich that environment with a lot more information that maybe that it doesn't have access to, because it's capturing information that we're missing because we're still getting hit by ransomware. Another thing we can do is we can reverse this, and we can provide RC as a service. So we know that SIM, SOC from Zepco is modular, and we can have various different modules. And one of those modules we can have is the ransomware containment piece. So there's a lot of integration with Zepco, the SIM and SOC, and also with RC. Another thing that we can do with the Zepco relationship now is we can be more strategic around our prevention and security approach to a business. So what we can do now is we can start looking at high level what it is they're doing, how mature they are, and what things that we can put in to help them protect their data and be more secure. And one of those things is always going to be something like ransom care, the containment around that what if scenario.
Yeah, so basically we are combining these two technologies, these two vendors actually, and bring them to market like the full package. Huh?
Well, the idea behind RC was we wanted to bring innovation to customers, and Bulwell is a massively innovative company. It's very much stand out amongst the rest because everyone's still trying to concentrate on prevention. This was a real mindset change, and that was 5, 6, 7 years ago. But bringing innovation is what Ricoh want to be doing when it comes to security. We don't want to be a Me Too provider.
No.
And we look at all of the technologies in our portfolio now, and there are elements of that as well. We do have things like SIM and SOC, which is widely available, but the way that we can deliver things like pay-as-you-go, pay-as-you-attack type of methods, that's something that the industry hasn't seen before.
Yeah.
Then we look at the continual pen testing. You look at all of those different things where we add a bit more value and bring that new kind of message to
unique approach.
Absolutely.
A very unique approach by combining this.
Yeah.
We are also bringing the reaction time down, maybe from weeks up to hours and days.
Yeah, and again, having the visibility and having the tools in place that enables us to react, recover, and be in a working place a lot quicker is what organisations are going to want to do.
Yeah. So, because no one can guarantee that you won't get hit, maybe we can guarantee basically these days it's not when it's gonna or if it's gonna happen, but more when it's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
So it's time to take this seriously. And of course, the first 50 minutes can define your future.
Absolutely, it's the critical time.
Yeah. So
do you want to run around like a headless chicken or think, actually, I will have my cup of tea?
I know who to call.
Exactly.
Yes. So with that, thank you very much for that.
My pleasure.
I think we caused a lot of panic in people and a lot of pressure to get this on the agenda. We talked about the previous podcast, of course, about Print Protect and Print Protect Plus, which are services that we developed together with Zepco. So I think we have a full portfolio now that really can help people.
Absolutely.
So if listeners and watchers out there need to know more, just give us a call or give us an email and we'll follow up with you.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Toby.
My pleasure, as always.
See you next time.
Ricoh.
Listen to this Ricoh's Inside podcast on cybersecurity. Toby, what we talked about.
So this one was about ransomware and ransomware around the stages of an outbreak and what we do and how we can prevent that outbreak from causing so much problems in the organisation.
Watch it on LinkedIn or YouTube.
Ricoh.
Welcome to podcast number 6 of Ricoh Insights. Today we're going to speak about process management, business process management, which of course is a big topic. So today we are joined by Ishmael, who's the Business Development Manager for DocuWare inside Ricoh International. Welcome, Ishmael.
Thank you very much, Krista. I'm very happy to see you.
Good. I have a question for you. So we've been hearing digital transformation all over, all the time. But lately I haven't been hearing much of it. Is it dead? Are we done? What happened?
Actually, absolutely not. It's not dead. The only thing is the concept of digital transformation, the word, created a fatigue in the people because it was mentioned many times, frequently in the past decade. So, but absolutely, it is still there as a business necessity and ongoing, as far as we see in the market, the high demand from the users about digital transformation. Yeah.
So are businesses done? Are they digitally transformed? Did they complete the digital transformation or sort of half-assed it?
Actually, yeah, there are many companies who claim that they completed their digital transformation until you ask them how they approve their expense reports, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably still a signature, physical signature on a piece of paper?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, this was quite a big necessity during COVID times. It started, accelerated in COVID times, and many companies transported their communication online, like rolling out Zoom or Teams and everything, and they scanned their documents on cloud, and they thought that it was completed. But the main processes, main works were still untouched, like workflows, intelligent processes, and document handling. They were untouched. Yeah.
Yeah, so they digitized their communications and scanned in their documents. And that's basically it, so people could find them on the cloud, maybe if they were working hybrid or from home.
Exactly.
But that's not true digital.
This is not the full digital
No.
work style as we are describing.
Can you take us through some of the processes that are not digitized yet, which many companies still have laying about doing old process, and what's that costing them?
Actually, yes, it's a good question. We were talking about digital document management, workflow management, storing the documents intelligently, for example, compliance issues, and the document retrieving problems. They are all untapped by many of the companies yet. So these are the things that needs to be done and being done, being targeted by the most of the companies now
Yeah,
to
so
complete the full process. Yeah.
can you give us a estimate of how much percent people
Actually,
are?
yeah,
Yeah?
it's thank you for reminding. One of our customers, it's a real example, figured out that their finance team were losing 40% of their time hunting the documents. This is a huge ratio, which causes a lot of not only time loss but also frustration in the team, and avoiding them to concentrate on their real business and strategies to be more productive.
It's crazy, yeah?
Yeah,
40%.
Yeah.
That's almost half of the time that people are playing detective instead of focusing on their real job.
Absolutely.
So basically what you're saying is that digital transformation is very much alive because we need to get all these processes done to start saving money and be compliant and things like that.
Absolutely.
So if you connect this to the business side, in uncertain economies, agility is a thing, eh? And business resilience.
It is all about agility, doing things correctly and fastly in this fierce competitive environment. The companies need to be fast, agile, but at the same time need to be very accurate. So that's the real part of the business resilience.
Yeah.
And of course the digital transformation is helping companies to keep up this speed. Yeah.
Yeah. So can you give a couple of real life examples of workflows or processes that people have that are not digitized yet that would benefit greatly from this, maybe from HR or finance?
Actually, one of the most common areas that these digital processes are used is accounting. So accounting payable, accounting receivable. That helps us, our users, companies, customers to use this document management solutions in the very fastest and accurate way to avoid penalties of mismanagement of the documents, like missing the due invoices, for example,
Yeah, the due dates of the invoices.
or
yeah.
benefit from the early payment discount. So these solutions help them to keep this benefits on the speed. Yeah.
So basically what you say is companies that adapt their processes and automate their processes are basically the ones who win?
They absolutely. This is about operational excellence. So these solutions, digital transformation, especially DocuWare, gives them this ability to operate excellently. This is one of the characteristics of a leader in the market. So you are right, absolutely, yeah.
And how complex is DocuWare? Because I've heard of all these very difficult solutions that are out there that will take months to implement. And how easy is DocuWare to use?
This is a great point. DocuWare is considered as one of the easiest solutions in the market, not only in terms of learning and implementing, but also using. So there are many customers who are absolutely satisfied about the user-friendly structure of DocuWare. Yeah.
Good. I'm really happy to hear that. So basically it's a bit of, DocuWare is a bit of the quiet power, because it isn't any flashy IA demos, long fancy dashboards, long implementations. It's just about making everyday work flow, the workflows.
I agree, yeah, it's really quiet power. We can describe it like this, you're right.
So making life easier and doing good for the company, yeah?
Exactly.
So basically what you're saying is digital transformation is not dead. Should we give it another name?
Yes, it's not that, absolutely. The thing is, the last decade, the name was digital transformation, but now we can give it another name like digital maturity or the digital workplace shift. For
Yeah.
example, we can create many names,
Try
but
creating
it is
new
still
buzzwords.
there. It is a journey, and it's absolutely ongoing.
Well, that's an ongoing process.
Exactly.
It's a journey.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not something you do once. It's something that you can keep doing. Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe it's a good time to wrap this up. Is there any other words you would like to present?
Thank you very much, Christy. So let's keep up the momentum. Let's help our customers to digitalize their workplaces with the help of our solutions, and let's help them enjoy the productivity that will come together.
Okay, and if there's any questions, they can contact you directly, or of course contact me. So thank you very much, Ismail.
Thank
See
you
next
to you,
time.
Christy. See you. Thank you.
Rico.
Listen to this podcast about process automation. What did we talk about, Ismail?
Christy, yes, actually we talked about the current status of digital transformation trend and the untouched points yet around digital transformation.
Watch it now on LinkedIn or YouTube.
Rico.